And I'm assuming that people who are around this property would love to see it come down for the obvious reasons, right? I mean, this is a place where I understand from talking to neighbors that rodents have gathered here, and they had to put up a fence to keep their kids out of the yard, and the hope is that if we're able to take this down, we might actually be able to expand the yard for the next door neighbor.
Yes. And there are also problems when you have blighted property in your community. It seems to attract crime and drugs and those kind of situations, which has been our focus on with bridge builders, is to try and combat the drug issue. Destroying the blighted properties has helped in some respects, but it also helps the property owners who live across the street, the value of their property.
Who do such a nice job maintaining their property.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The land bank has already done a lot of work in the area, and I think they've done a wonderful job. And people have been very cooperative, and it's been a good thing. It has not been a bad thing.
Athens County is kind of a tale of two cities, right?
You know, Athens County is really backwards a lot from the rest of the state in terms of how the land bank works. And a lot of counties, like say Lawrence, the big problems are in the main city, and the outside areas the land bank has almost no contact with. Well, in Athens, we have a college town with high property values and lots of landlords who are protecting their property in a good, strong code office. And the outlying areas are the problems. They're the places where properties have been left for dead for years and years and years. We have coal companies that slipped away 20, 30, 40 years ago. We have floods that came, and a lot of those left abandoned properties in their wake. Without a land bank, there was just no way. A house like the one we're standing in here has been sitting here for over 10 years, abandoned. If you talk to some of my mayors from these small villages, they'll tell you there's houses they've been trying to get rid of for 20 years. And they just don't have any way to deal with it on their own. So the land bank has been a tremendous asset to the county.
So the land bank enables you to bring the property in, remove all the assessments, and then of course use the money you've raised, whether it's through NIP or through your own corporate dollars, to take properties like this down. How close is this one to being foreclosed?
We'll have this the deed to this house within about 60 days, I think. And then we have been hoarding our money in our own budget to do tear downs once the NIP program was over. So you'll see this house get torn down fairly quickly.
And I was here earlier, and the next door neighbor already came out to you and said, hey, I applied to the land bank. When can I talk to you about this property? So you already have somebody willing to take this property in.
Absolutely. And one of the interesting things about this is how, you have good, conscientious property owners living next to properties that have been abandoned for years and years and years. And they suffer the consequences of those properties. They have the kids that can't play in the yard because there are rats running around. Sometimes they have drug dealers that move in next to them. And taking down these houses, look, getting rid of blight is its own goal. There's nothing wrong just with getting rid of blight. But all of the other social problems that come along with abandoned houses are also taken care of, in addition to raising the property values, raising the esteem of the people who live around here, because they no longer have to look at these dilapidated messes. Let's see if our friends Ricky and Jose are home.
Okay.
So at one time, this house was owned by one of the big businessmen here in Gloucester. He owned the feed store and a number of other businesses. A young man had bought it to try to rehab it. It was just too much project for him. And he came to the land bank and asked if he could donate it. And he did. And then we found some folks who were able to come in and start a renovation on it and enter the picture Ricky and Jose. Hello. One of the things we really have to be concerned with is if someone takes on a project, we want to make sure that they can complete it.
They can complete it.
We don't want to perpetuate the problem where we've got a house that's getting worked on perpetually and it never gets done. But as you'll see when we go inside, I think these guys really do know what they're doing.
It's just something that caught our eye when we was looking online and thought we would like to fix it up and move to a bigger home with 4 kids. So it's something we like to do, is just to remodel and make things come back to life and look nice again. So.
And I imagine you'd like to see something happen next door.
Yes, definitely. It needs to be something done with it because it's kind of an eyesore, especially once we get this one finished. So.
Well, why don't we take a little look?
All right, come on in.
It's totally different already. Wow.
Oh yeah, it's
oh my God.
It's been it
just looks amazing. I'm almost speechless. But the pace at which you were able to do it, you only took this house over in May, and you were only working on the outside for a while, because these guys have full-time jobs. They work on renovations for other people during the day. This house is a very strange layout. It had sort of 2 front doors, and this living room in here had...
Go right ahead.
Wow. Oh
Go
my
ahead.
goodness. That fireplace is original to the house,
Original painting and everything on
and
it.
it's neat that you could save that.
Right, but this was closed in, so we did that for the computer. Kendrick's doing online right now through Miami until the
Right, he mentioned that.
16th.
I saw him the other day.
But yeah, there's just kind of, we took, this had a closet here, kind of open. We tore that out.
Gosh, you guys are master decorators. I mean, old school lockers.
That was open, remember? You could see the pipes coming down. There was like a
I know I have
closet.
pictures, but
They had pipes going down in, the main line, so.
Well, you guys work quick.
Thanks.
I mean, this is all new drywall, obviously.
Yeah, no, actually, no, we saved it. A lot of it, we kind of
Put on
patched
that
over.
wall, certainly.
No, that's original.
That's original too.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh, you got a flair for decorating too. Look at that light fixture. That's
Yeah.
something else.
Hey, IKEA.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I love the tile.
Yeah, we got that and this we put in. We still have to grout this one. We've just kind of been.
Yeah, and you're gonna need some kind of transition there.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to make something because that's where the floor has dropped. Come on in.
So it didn't have a functional kitchen or a functional bathroom when they took it over. They had to build everything. Wow, this is neat.
Yeah, and then we just built this 2 days ago above the stove. Put that in for a vent.
Oh my gosh, look at the little sitting area outside.
Oh, and there we put.
I was here last week. That wasn't here. You laid the tile?
Yeah, we put this tile in too.
Are these 12 by 18? What is it? 12 by 16? That's a strange shape, a size.
Yeah, it is big. I can't remember now what size it was exactly, but they're pretty big. And then we tiled that because we didn't want to put new vinyl, but we got to do some type of trim around it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Build a cubby hole for it, and then
that is really awesome.
we got a lot of, like I said, trim to try to match. And there we was able to find we had to do 2 pieces together and stain, so we've got to still do all the. We're trying to keep it all wide like the original.
Right. So now this is the original floor.
This is the original floor.
Look how nice that looks from.
Yeah,
what
it's still
was
got a lot of
before.
stain like that's been, but we brought a lot of it out. So, and this is what we're doing. This is the master bedroom with a walk-in closet and a master bathroom, which we're still trying to work on. So.
Well, I can remember standing in this room many times showing this house to various different people and trying to get a sense of what they could do, but I really never imagined it would be quite like this. Now, did you replace all these windows?
No.
These are the original windows?
These are original, restored, but we're going to have to, we're getting ready to start on outside next week. Restoring and putting trim around them. Resealing them. Of course, we had to put new glass in the bottom, some we broke out, but. So.
How many hours would you say you have in this at this point?
2.5 months, 3 months maybe, labor working.
So you bought this house from the land bank for $7,000, and clearly, this is going to be one of the most valuable houses in town when you're done with it here, just the way it's been renovated and appointed. I mean, this is going to be a, probably $75,000 house minimum, I would say.
Yeah.
On the lot that it's on. I mean, that's a pretty good return on your investment, but you put a lot into it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If we all stick together, we prosper, do better.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening now with the land bank. We had a flood in '98, was disastrous to this town. And then in 2002, another flood. So there, we got a lot of properties that's been sat in 18, 20 years.
Without the money to take them down.
Without the money to take them down.
They've been vacant all that time.
Yep.
You've taken them back now through tax foreclosure. The land bank did, then brought them back to you.
That's correct.
And now FEMA is going to work with you to take all those properties down.
Yes, we have the grant to do that.
Well, that'll be great.
Oh, buddy, it will be.
Most of it'll be green space, right, Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, coming into the village here. These here properties, here's land bank property. This one here, it's just a burnt-out house, been here, like I say, over 6 years, so.
Probably green space too. I don't see much going on here. Or do you think there's a chance somebody
I know
might
the
wanna...
land bank likes to give it to people to regenerate the tax base on it for us, but there might be someone that's interested in, once it's cleaned up, to build on it. I don't know. We just
At least you get to see the opportunity once it's cleaned
that's
up.
correct.
You don't see much opportunity here now.
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not popular with a few people, but then, the people who needed it really needed us to take action. And, Trimble Township, Nelsonville, Chansey here, but we try to spread it out and address these issues all throughout the county. Every township has issues. These properties have been problems for 10, 20 years sometimes. And that's just demoralizing for the communities. So it's been really satisfying to, make progress on those.
But it's not all about demolition. Here's an example of a house you saved.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about this house?
So yeah, when we found out about this place, there was trash, literally everywhere. The demolition money from NIP is gone, so ideal situation, if we have an opportunity to renovate it, I think that makes a lot of sense.
This community is on the verge of something great, right? Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on at Wayne National Forest, which is just behind us here?
Yeah, so Chansey is on the edge of a big tract of land with the Wayne National Forest here in Athens, and it's got a trailhead right now for the Bailey's mountain biking trail system. People from the community of Chansey are going over there hiking, walking. Property values right now are going up in this area because people are buying properties, turning them into Airbnbs. We've created this organization called ORCA, which is the Outdoor Recreation Council of Appalachia. And, not only this mountain biking trail system, but, kayaking, canoeing on the rivers, and, who knows where else it's going to lead.
Where do you see your land bank going? You've got a lot of work to do, obviously, still, right?
Oh, yeah. Hopefully we can just kind of keep our momentum going. I would like to do more like innovative, collaborative stuff, like where we work with maybe Hocking College or Tri-County to do more rehabs. Cleaning up the properties is the easy part.
Easy part, yeah.
Keeping them clean and helping these folks rehabilitate their lives. We got some real challenges here with generational poverty. These old coal towns, they died back in the 60s and 70s, and what is the hope? And I guess that outdoor rec is one of those things, the tourism economy, because it's manufacturing down here is, it's sparse. So anyways, I hope that, the land bank can continue to innovate. We've got Rick's working hard. I feel like I'm working hard, and we've got a couple other partnerships that we can develop.
Add to this?
Well, we couldn't have done it without your support and Robin's support, and it's great how you guys build the coalitions, and we're really trying to help some of the neighboring counties get their land banks started too, because they need it. Unfortunately, it becomes political sometimes, where the people aren't being served, I don't think. So it's like we're lucky that we've been able to get it done, and we couldn't have done it without you, and we want to support you guys and other counties getting their land banks started.
Thank you.
So we're standing in front of a house known as 111 Monroe Street in Chansey, and this was an abandoned house a couple of years ago, and so we made it a land bank project and started a foreclosure, and lo and behold, a couple of weeks ago the house burned up. But Chris, the local people, they don't have any money to clean this up. They don't have the equipment to come in and take this away, and so it's going to fall to the land bank to get this done, isn't it?
Yep. And luckily we've got a neighbor over here that's already fixed up her property, and she is interested in taking ownership of this, so that's good.
So one of the values that the land bank brings to a small community like this is to help out with things that they just don't have the wherewithal to do. This would sit probably for years and years, and I've been to other communities where burned out houses have sat for years and years before somebody could clean them up.
The land bank, when it got started, really did a lot of focusing in on areas within Athens County. One of those was Gloucester, and we were able to get this house tore down in partnership with the land bank and be able to build a habitat house on it. So what you see in front of you right now is the new house. 10 Barber is going to look different than what it did before, but look a lot better than what it did before.
This is what, a 2-bedroom house?
2-bedroom house, yep, and it's going for a family of 3, local family in Athens County. We started the house on June 15th, and you can see where we're at now. We're in drywall stage, and we'll be completed by the end of October.
Now, you have several other parcels here in the area that we've worked together on.
One of the other unique things that we do is we require our families to go to the municipality and interview with the mayor or the code director to learn all the codes and learn how to be a good neighbor within the community they're going to be living in. And then of course they have to pay a zero interest mortgage back to us as part of the deal, and then we recycle those funds back into the communities that we serve. And so families have to make between 30 and 60% of the area median income. So for right now in Athens County, for a family of 4, that's between $17,000 and $35,000 a year.
Gotcha. And still, with all of that, significant blowback sometimes from the neighbors when they see the Habitat project is going to be in their neighborhood.
There's a lot of misconceptions about Habitat, but the truth about Habitat is that our homeowners' delinquency rates are much less than, it's lower than 1%. We're on par with any normal bank that you would see. Our homeowners are the people who are taking care of the sick and dying in our communities. They're working in home health, they're working in nursing homes, they're teachers' aides, they're bagging groceries at Kroger's, or they may have a disability that prohibits them from being able to earn an income.
The chapter you said has been around for 30 years. Land banks in Southeast Ohio have really been around for between 5 and 10 years. Mm-hmm. So how has the presence of land banks impacted your work at Habitat?
It has impacted it considerably. So Habitat Southeast Ohio, prior to the land bank in Athens County and in the other counties that we serve that have land banks, tried to do something that the land bank did, or currently does, and that is acquire dilapidated housing, tear it down, and build new ones in its place. That's always been our model of home builds. A lot of these properties that we wanted to acquire had, $20,000 in taxes on them when the value of the property was at negative value, and that hindered our ability to actually have wide-scale neighborhood transformation. And the land bank actually allows us to do that because you guys have the legal element to be able to acquire these properties and get rid of them and improve the community.
And wash off the taxes and assessments. Which
right, yeah. And then we take over at that point and start the rebuild, us and other nonprofits.
Yeah. For all you people watching this asking, how do you wind up with $20,000 in delinquent taxes on a place where the property values are low? The answer is sewer and water assessments. A lot of these communities have, rightfully so, gotten federal money to build sewer programs, and those sewer programs have to send a bill to every house that has a tap every single month, whether or not they're occupied. And often when we take over the house, 2/3 of that taxes is assessments for delinquent sewer.
We're just really grateful for the land banks in general. We could not do what we do if it weren't for them. It really enhances our work efforts. And so much so that now most of our projects in at least 4 counties in our 8-county serviced area are focused on partnerships with land banks. And we hope in the future more land banks come online in Southeast Ohio because they really are about community improvement. That's the primary goal of the land bank, is to really create more community revitalization.
On the site of this house was one of the worst houses that I'd seen in any community. The Habitat folks had purchased the house, paid off the delinquent taxes, and then didn't have any money to tear it down. So they gave it to us with the taxes paid off. We used NIP funding to tear it down, and then we gave it back to them so that they could build the house that you see here. The sad thing about what happens in these communities that I've noticed since I've been treasurer is there's so many good people here. There's so many folks that are trying to make a life, that are working hard and playing by the rules, and they keep their own property up. But then the house next door becomes dilapidated because a landlord doesn't take care of it, or they get the wrong tenants and the house gets stripped in the middle of the night. You know, I'm a county treasurer and I see other county treasurers at conferences all the time, and I'm just frankly amazed at the ones that don't want land banks. In the first place, as a business person, I know that there's always going to be bad debt. And the property tax debt on these houses where people died a generation ago and the house is just sitting there, you've got negative equity in those houses. Those houses have negative value. And unless you have a land bank that can come in and take that away and get those houses reset back to zero, no one's ever going to do anything with that land. I'll have these treasurers that say, oh, this is just too much work. Why would I want to do all that work? And I think to myself, this is the most important thing that I'll ever do.